Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid to say this, but I believe we could have possibly been wrong about Mr. P. As you all know, a few days ago, we did a video surrounding the theory that Gene is in fact Mr. P disguised in the penguin costume. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like that theory was pretty good. There was a lot of very interesting evidence to support the claims and make it interesting, to get the ball rolling. Something's off about Mr. P, just to make it a little bit mysterious, get us asking questions about this brawler. But new developments have come to the surface surrounding this theory and the mystery behind Mr. P. This video today is all about the theory that Mr. P is in fact a bot inside of Brawl Stars. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so I know we just got done presenting the theory that Mr. P could possibly be Gene in disguise, and you're probably thinking to yourself right now, Ray, why the heck are you thinking about this so deeply? Is it really that big of a deal? And I'm here to tell you it is. Now, this new theory that Mr. P could possibly be a bot inside of Brawl Stars really started to come to me after I posted my video about Gene being Mr. P. The great thing about the last video is it really sparked a lot of conversation about Mr. P, some adding to the theory that we presented in that video, as well as some bringing new theories to the forefront, and this one was definitely one of those that people were talking about, and it really started to chug my mind in the fact that this could be a running thing. There's a lot of things pointing to the fact that Mr. P could be a bot. So in order to start this theory off, I find it incredibly important to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So as you all know here on my channel, if you watch my videos consistently, you know my deep disdain for bots here in Brawl Stars. I made some dedicated videos about bots, as well as all my star power glitch episodes. The bots get under my skin quite a lot due to the fact that I have to constantly research different star power glitches, spending a lot of time with the bots and actually recording with them, always breathing down my neck. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We just need to take a little bit of damage, and then we get to rocking. But we have no health as is! Now, in those deep fits of rage against the bots in my Star Power Glitch episodes, I say a lot of things such as, you know, the bots are getting better in this game, or the bots are slowly taking over Brawl Stars. Some of that is joking, and some of that in the current moment was like, you know, these bots are actually destroying me. Why are they so dang good? So, of course, a lot of that is me joking around and just kind of raging out and having a good time against the bots. But how much of it could possibly be true? Now, a video made by the legend Mr. Coach Corey over here on YouTube only 4 days ago outlined a theory that you could be playing against bots a lot more often since this last update, with the title, "Is Brawl Stars Full of Bots? Proof that you are versing bots in Brawl Stars," and it is a very interesting theory. Corey in this video hops into multiple different matches of Showdown at different trophy ranges and then reviews his battle log to see if there are potential bot accounts that he played up against in those games, and the evidence was pretty uncanny. There was a large majority of brawlers that he went up against at the different trophy ranges that were bot accounts. Now, in my opinion, this could be adding to the fact that the bots are trying to take over Brawl Stars, and a very interesting comment that a lot of people pointed out that I first saw on Reddit that I didn't initially see on Corey's video was from Weirdo Dude. As you can see, he says, "Hi Corey, I figured out the formula, hope you see this, took me a while. First, the bot system is completely new in this update and is probably there for Hot Zone's introduction. From 0 to 49 trophies, every single game you go in, whether it be 3v3 or solo or duo showdown, will be against bots. From 50 to 149, you need to lose or tie one, but as you can see, the formula no longer works, but still compelling." Now, this leads us to our first bit of somewhat compelling evidence supporting our theory that Mr. P could be a bot inside of Brawl Stars. What this kind of points to is the fact that after Mr. P's introduction, that more bots came with him. Of course, on Corey's video by Weird Dude, he theorizes that it's because of the introduction of the newest game mode, Hot Zone, that we're seeing a new bot system in the game and why we might be seeing more bots than we normally do inside of Brawl Stars. Now, this could definitely be true. We might be seeing more bots sprouting up inside of Brawl Stars because of the introduction of Hot Zone, but interesting enough, Mr. P was released in this update as well, and if he is a robot disguised as Mr. P, wouldn't it be interesting if he brought some of his bot friends or a bot army into the game along with him? Guys, if he is a bot in disguise, he is smarter than most of the bots inside the game that we already have. He might be the king of the bots, bringing over his army to do whatever he needs to do. This is getting a little bit kooky, but it's an interesting little side note, a little theory inside of this theory. So getting into a little bit more of the evidence supporting this theory. Now, in the video that I posted about the Gene theory, some people were pointing out that the fact that Mr. P's voice lines were much like Gene's could be due to the fact that a robot took those voice lines, reprogrammed them, and distorted them a little bit so that they're somewhat similar, but made it unique to his character, which gives reason as to why their voice lines are so similar, but just a little bit different. If you take a look at the other brawlers in the game, even the robot brawlers that have voice lines, they are unique to them. They have specific dialogue that supports what they do in the game and makes them unique. The only case that we have of brawlers being really similar are between Mr. P and Gene. And it's really interesting to point out that Gene doesn't have that much personality as is with his voice lines. He doesn't describe anything specific to his character with the dialogue that we see in his voice lines. So it'd be very convenient for a robot to take that dialogue, distort it, and make it for his own, because he doesn't have to work with dialogue that's specific to some sort of character inside the game. It's just gibberish. So in my opinion, the most hard-hitting evidence by far in today's video to support this theory came from one of you guys in the comments down below. I should say a lot of you guys in the comments down below, pointing to the fact that Mr. P's eyebrows are very similar to something else that we have in the game. As you can see, the eyebrows on the boss robot inside a boss fight has pretty similar eyebrows to Mr. P's. The only difference is that Mr. P has like one eyebrow coming down the middle. It's like a small arrow, or the extended version of the arrow is like cut off, which no other brawlers have eyebrows like this inside the game. Also, I do want to point out that we've seen this eyebrow format in the game beforehand on the old boss fight logo that we had in Brawl Stars beforehand when there was only 2 ticketed game modes, Robo Rumble as well as boss fight, but we see the arrow eyebrows in this formation as well. Another thing that I'd like to point out that a lot of you guys pointed out in the comments of yesterday's video is the fact that during a lot of Mr. P's animations, his head detaches from his body, which, guys, let me tell you something. If your head detaches from your body and you're living, that is not a good thing. You don't want that to happen. Now, we see this quality from a lot of different robots inside of Brawl Stars, such as Tick, and most definitely Enrico's losing animation. Also, I do want to point out that a lot of the evidence supporting the Gene theory also applies to this theory as well. The fact that Mr. P doesn't blink and he has cold, lifeless eyes kind of adds to the mystery, as well as adds to the lifelessness of a robot. Robots don't blink. Also, we have some reasoning in this theory as well as to why there's a little nodule on top of Mr. P's head, and a lot of people were pointing out that it could be due to the fact that he has the same exact thing as the Robo Porter does on the top of its head, like a little antennae, so he could hide it in that little point on his head. So I guess that's something. Also, the fact that he has a zipper on the back of his head and the stitching down the seam on the back of his head also supports that he could be a robot within a penguin costume, disguising himself, doing things inside of the game. The next bit of evidence, though it is a little bit of a stretch I might add, is the contents within Mr. P's briefcase. When you use his basic attack, there are things that pop out once it explodes, and it's 2 different items, both clothing based. We have spike socks as well as underwear, and they both have like holes in them, and I'm assuming that's just from the explosion, but it could be that he's like eating the underwear for some reason. I'm not sure. Now, whenever you're carrying around a briefcase, normally you're putting things within there that are important for you, that you need to take on the go. And if only clothes are within that briefcase, Mr. P finds clothes pretty dang important. And I would say that he uses those clothes to disguise himself when he's on the go, right? So in theory, the robot that is Mr. P needs those clothes on the go in order to disguise himself as a normal brawler or a normal person, whatever it is. Also, I do want to point out, though I don't think it really means a whole lot, but why the heck does Mr. P's briefcase explode? Does he have like explosives in his briefcase? What the heck? Also, during Mr. P's losing animation, you get a glimpse of some of the contents within his suitcase, and from what I can see, it looks like it's just clothing. But if you guys can pick out anything in there that might be not clothing, make sure to let me know in the comments. The next and final bit of solid evidence that I have for you guys in today's video that Mr. P is in fact a bot here in Brawl Stars, I found out over on Reddit, and it deals with his dying animation, or the sounds that he makes when he's dying, and it sounds a lot or somewhat like a robot, so let's hear it. So now with some of the hard-hitting evidence out of the way, I'd like to turn to the community and see what they're saying revolving around this theory over on Reddit, much like we did in our last theory video. So let's get into it. So I want to turn back to this picture that we featured in our last theory episode as well by Lazy Lizard Guy. I love this picture. It's so ominous and creepy, but it shows a robot hiding under Mr. P, the costume. And it could be, guys, it definitely could be. When I first saw this photo, I was like, dang, this could be a better theory than the Gene one. Also, we have some other things, such as some of the stuff that I already previously said in today's video, but got inspiration by, and that is this guy over here, 3 Queen Knox. 1, pointing out that the nodule could be Mr. P's turret's little antennae coming out, and another person pointing out that Mr. P makes robot noises when he dies, that I also took inspiration from over here on Reddit. So I'm not the only one, thankfully, talking about Mr. P being a robot inside of Brawl Stars, and it's plainly obvious in the comments on the last theory video that some people were actually thinking that Mr. P wasn't Gene, he's actually a robot, so it's pretty interesting. So what does this all mean? If this theory is indeed true, why is there a robot trying to infiltrate the brawlers inside of Brawl Stars? So some of the personal reasonings that I have as to why a robot is trying to infiltrate the brawlers and just normal gameplay against real people inside of Brawl Stars could be stemming from the same kind of stuff that I was saying in the Star Power Glitch episodes, that they're taking over. They're trying to do something heinous inside the game. They're getting better, they're growing, and they're trying to cohort the normal gameplay inside of Brawl Stars. If you think about it, robots, the actual robots in the game, not bots that we have to play for us when we're in normal gameplay, things like that, are only in games that are not impactful for the game. So in the training cave, for example, they're just programmed to stand there and take the beating from the normal players in the game, constantly being destroyed and respawned. It's an endless cycle for them. Could it be that they're sick of being destroyed inside of Brawl Stars over and over again? So one of the bots took initiative and disguised themselves as a brawler, trying to work their way into the normal gameplay of Brawl Stars, bringing with it more bots inside of Brawl Stars, playing in normal games that we're seeing a little bit more often with this update, as Corey pointed out in his video. I mean, from what we see from bots inside of Brawl Stars, just the genuine bots in every single game mode that they're present in, they're always on the bad end. They're always trying to destroy something. They're always trying to kill your team in boss fight or in Robo Rumble, destroy the safe. They're never on the good end of things. They're never on your team. They are our enemy. So guys, in conclusion, I don't know what this theory points to inside of Brawl Stars. It's not like the Gene theory where it might be pointing at the picture that the dev team is trying to hide like a nuance for the new update coming around the corner, adding a little mystery in the game, some lore and stuff like that. I think it's a lot simpler than that, but it is pretty dang interesting. You guys, if you've stuck around on my channel for quite some time now, you know I'm not quick to anger. I'm not a very angry person. I'm really actually a happy person most of the time. Nothing really gets under my skin that easily, but the one thing that has in the past that you guys have seen on full display on my channel are the bots in the game, and I think that might have something to say for this theory. But of course, like we said in our last episode, it is just a theory, and with any theory, no matter how much evidence you have on it to prove it right, it is still a theory. So guys, it's pretty interesting. Hopefully you all enjoyed the episode today. Let me know your thoughts surrounding this one. Honestly, in my opinion, I enjoyed this theory just a little bit more than the Gene one, because I have a little bit of invested emotions into the bots inside the game, the stinking bots. Are they turning the tides? Are they trying to infiltrate Brawl Stars? Only time will tell. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to slap a like on it. I really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.